Ladies and gentlemen, and every invention, every structure, every revolution that ever blessed humanity began with a picture in the mind of a person who dared to believe in what could be. Your thoughts are the seedbeds of your future. This is not just a poetic idea. It is a spiritual law, an unchanging principle that governs the human experience. The mind is not merely a place of wandering thoughts or passing emotions. It is the womb of destiny. Every idea you permit to dwell within it is a seed with the potential to grow into action, habit, character, and ultimately your reality. Just as a womb nurtures and brings forth life, your mind nurtures and brings forth your future. When you think a thought repeatedly, it begins to form patterns of belief, expectation, and behavior. If those thoughts are rooted in fear, doubt, and failure, then the fruit of your life will be frustration, delay, and disappointment. But if those thoughts are rooted in vision, confidence, and hope, the fruit will be clarity, direction, and breakthrough. This is why visualization is so powerful. It allows you to plant intentional thoughts, water them with repetition, and eventually harvest the life you imagine. It is important to understand that you are always creating, whether consciously or unconsciously. The mind does not take a break from building. If you are not choosing what to think, life will choose for you. This is why so many people feel like they're living by default instead of design. They've handed over the power of their inner world to circumstances, to pain, to the opinions of others. But destiny is not dictated by what happens around you. It is shaped by what you allow to happen within you. That is why it is dangerous to entertain negative thoughts for too long. They are not harmless. They are corrosive to vision. They shrink your faith, blur your purpose, and erode your courage. Just as weeds grow when a garden is left untended, so does negativity flourish in an unmanaged mind. But when you take dominion over your thoughts, guarding, filtering, and directing them, you begin to shape the course of your life with precision and purpose. The most powerful people are not those with physical strength or material wealth, but those who have mastered their inner world. They understand that vision begins in the unseen, in the imagination, in the sacred space of thought. Before you can lead others, before you can conquer obstacles, before you can build dreams, you must first rule your mind. Because it is in the mind that futures are formed, battles are won, and destinies are decided. So discipline your mind to think according to going, not where you've been. Let your thoughts align with the future you're building. You are the architect of your tomorrow, and the blueprint is your imaginations. See it clearly, think it intentionally, and protect it fiercely. Because whatever is conceived in the womb of your mind will eventually be born in the world of your life. Every great invention, every movement that changed the world, every breakthrough in human progress began not with action, but with imagination. Imagination is the divine workshop of greatness, a sacred space where ideas are formed before they are forged into reality. It is in the unseen chambers of your mind that the seeds of significance are planted. Before a building stands, it exists in the mind of an architect. Before a book is published, it is written first in the imagination of its author. Before you can step into your future, you must first see it clearly in the theater of your thoughts. Imagination is not child's play. It is adult responsibility. Many people believe that imagination is for dreamers disconnected from reality. But the truth is, reality is shaped by those who dare to imagine a different one. The chair you sit on, the device you're reading this on, the clothes you wear, and the systems you live within, each of them came into being because someone envisioned them first. Your imagination is your creative license. It gives you permission to paint a picture of what your life could become and build a pathway to walk toward it. The most tragic mistake is to let imagination go unused. A person who does not imagine is a person who forfeits the ability to create. Without vision, people perish, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they never dared to see what was possible. When you allow your imagination to be shaped by your purpose, you awaken the force of creativity within you. You begin to dream differently, think higher, and plan with greater clarity. You stop settling for what is and begin working toward what could be. But imagination alone is not enough. It must be paired with faith and action. When you imagine something, you are rehearsing possibility. But when you believe in it, you begin to move toward it. This is where positive thinking plays a vital role. It is the fuel that drives your imagination from mere daydreaming into bold, purposeful creation. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing to focus on what's right, what's possible, what's next. It's the decision to build thoughts that align with progress rather than problems. Imagination gives birth to ideas. Positive thinking gives them wings. When your mind is filled with hope, your ideas are not trapped in fear. You begin to plan not according to what could go wrong, but according to what could go right. This shift in thinking is what separates leaders from followers, builders from critics, creators from consumers. The difference is not external, it is entirely internal. So train your mind to imagine with boldness and think with intention. Let your inner vision be stronger than outer circumstances. Let your thoughts be the scaffolding that holds up your dreams. You were not created to merely observe life. You were designed to design it. What you consistently see in your mind, you are more likely to experience in your life. This is not just motivational language. It is a truth rooted in the way the human mind and spirit operate. The images you allow to dominate your thoughts are not passive. They are powerful forces shaping your beliefs, decisions, and actions. The mind does not differentiate much between imagination and reality. That is why athletes rehearse victories in their minds before they ever win on the field. And leaders often envision success before the first step is taken. Your inner pictures create outer direction. When you visualize something repeatedly, you train your mind to believe it is possible. You begin to see it not as a far-off dream, but as an unfolding reality. This mental rehearsal prepares your emotions, sharpens your focus, and aligns your behavior with your desired outcome. If you constantly picture failure, you unconsciously adjust your actions to match that expectation, hesitating when you should move, retreating when you should stand, or giving up when you should endure. But if you picture progress, victory, and growth, you move toward those images with greater confidence and resilience. This is why it is dangerous to allow your inner vision to be dictated by fear or past trauma. Your mind is like fertile ground. It will grow whatever is planted, whether that seed is positive or negative. If you feed it worry, it will grow anxiety. If you feed it hope, it will produce courage. The images in your mind set the atmosphere for your life. If they are dark, your perspective will be dim. If they are bright, your perspective will be clear and energized. One of the most empowering decisions you can make is to deliberately craft the pictures you allow in your mental space. Visualization is not superstition or fantasy. It is strategic and intentional living. It is choosing to live from the inside out rather than letting the outside world determine your inner state. When you wake up each day and see yourself walking in purpose, influencing others, overcoming obstacles, and fulfilling your calling, you are aligning your mind with your mission. Visualization must be accompanied by conviction. It is not enough to see it. You must also believe it. The power comes when the mental image is supported by faith and followed by disciplined action. It is then that your inner vision becomes a guiding light. Even when the path is hard, the image keeps you moving. Even when you fall, the vision lifts you again. Even when others doubt, the picture within keeps you grounded and focused. You cannot rise higher than the image you carry of yourself. That is why you must protect your vision. Don't let temporary circumstances distort it. Don't let past mistakes define it. Don't let negative voices destroy it. Guard your inner picture. Strengthen it. Speak to it. And walk boldly in the direction it shows you. Positive thinking is not merely about optimism. It is a manifestation of faith. It is the discipline of directing your thoughts, not according to the chaos around you, but according to the clarity within you. Faith does not deny facts. It simply places trust in a higher truth. When you think positively with purpose, you are not just trying to feel better. You are choosing to align your thoughts with the reality you are believing for, rather than the circumstances you are living in. This kind of thinking is deeply spiritual. It is forward-focused, grounded in vision, and powered by conviction. Faith thinks forward because faith is always reaching towards something greater than what currently exists. When you engage in positive thinking through faith, you are stretching your mental energy toward what is not yet visible. This is not wishful thinking. Wishful thinking hopes without foundation. Faith-filled thinking is rooted in vision, character, and promise. It sees beyond current limitations and declares, there is more. It takes hold of future potential and pulls it into present reality through belief, speech, and action. A forward-thinking person does not get stuck in the failures of yesterday or the discomforts of today. Their mind is governed by what they are becoming, not what they've been through. This is what makes positive thinking such a powerful force in life. It refuses to let your past become your prison. Instead, it invites you to dream again, hope again, and move again, even if nothing around you has changed yet. The transformation begins in the mind long before it reaches your surroundings. Thinking forward also requires courage. It takes courage to believe that something better is possible when all you've known is disappointment. It takes courage to reject the voices of negativity, both internal and external, and instead affirm the voice of purpose within. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the refusal to let fear determine your thoughts. Faith-based positive thinking teaches your mind to serve your purpose, not your problems. You begin to think in alignment with your destiny, not your difficulty. When your thoughts are governed by faith, they become tools of construction. You begin to build your future with intentional words, with bold expectations, and with consistent declarations of who you are and where you are going. These are not empty affirmations, they are statements of identity rooted in belief. You are not simply trying to escape a problem, you are stepping into a promise. That shift in mindset is the difference between surviving and thriving. In every season of life, whether in victory or trial, your thinking must remain anchored in faith, in truth, and in vision. Faithful thinking is not about ignoring challenges, it is about thinking beyond them. Your thoughts were not meant to be imprisoned by your environment. They were created to shape it. So think boldly, think purposefully, and above all, think forward. What you meditate on is what you manifest. This principle is profound and transformational. Meditation, in this sense, is more than just a relaxation technique or a moment of quiet. It is the focused, intentional dwelling of the mind on particular thoughts, ideas, or truths. When you consistently meditate on a vision, a goal, or a truth, your mind begins to align your emotions, decisions, and behaviors toward that very thing. It is the invisible force that shapes the visible outcomes in your life. The human mind is like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant and nurture will grow. If you continuously meditate on your fears, doubts, and limitations, you cultivate an environment ripe for anxiety and failure. But if you deliberately meditate on your strengths, possibilities, and victories, you create fertile ground for success and fulfillment. Meditation focuses your inner gaze, sharpening your vision, and directing your energy toward what you truly desire. This mental focus is not passive, it is active creation. What you think about most occupies the center of your heart and mind. When you let your thoughts dwell on negativity, the spirit of despair begins to take root. Conversely, when you feed your mind with hope, gratitude, and positive affirmations, you grow resilience and confidence. The difference between a person who succeeds and one who struggles often lies in what they habitually meditate on. Success is rarely accidental. It is the natural result of consistent, intentional thought patterns that favor growth. Meditation also works like a spiritual magnet. It draws circumstances, opportunities, and relationships into your life that correspond with what you focus on. When your mind is fixed on purpose, You begin to notice doors opening that were invisible before. Your intuition sharpens, and you become more aware of possibilities aligned with your goals. This is because your subconscious mind, trained through meditation, begins to work toward making your vision real. The discipline of meditation on positive, purposeful thoughts strengthens your mental muscles. Just like exercising the body builds physical strength, exercising your mind through focused meditation builds mental resilience. It prepares you to face challenges with steadiness and to act with clarity rather than confusion. You become less reactive to negative influences because your mental foundation is strong and anchored. It is important to realize that meditation is not about ignoring reality or escaping from problems. It is about choosing what reality you want to build. It is about directing your inner world so that it produces an outer world filled with meaning and success. When you meditate on your goals daily, you keep your vision alive. You remind yourself of why you started, and you strengthen your commitment to keep moving forward. The power of meditation lies in repetition and consistency. The more frequently you engage in purposeful meditation, the more natural positive thinking becomes. Your mind becomes a well-tuned instrument capable of filtering out doubt and focusing on the good and the possible. This is how thoughts become things. This is how visions become realities. Negativity acts like a corrosive agent on the clarity of your vision and the strength of your purpose. When fear, doubt, and pessimism take root in your mind, they begin to distort the picture you hold of your future. Just as pollution clouds the air and dirtied water loses its purity, negativity contaminates your thoughts and impairs your ability to see clearly. This corruption is not merely emotional. It is spiritual and mental, affecting the very foundation upon which you build your life. When you allow negative thoughts to dominate, you unwittingly sabotage your own progress. These thoughts whisper lies, telling you that you are not enough, that success is impossible, or that your dreams are out of reach. Over time, these lies become accepted as truth, and your vision shrinks accordingly. You start to see obstacles as permanent barriers rather than temporary challenges. This shift in perception can lead to discouragement, procrastination, and eventually defeat. Negativity is not just a bad mood, it is a vision distortion that leads to paralysis. The danger of negativity is that it often masquerades as realism. It claims to be practical, sensible, and just seeing things as they are. But true realism requires balance, acknowledging challenges while still holding on to hope and possibility. Negativity, on the other hand, fixates on problems without considering solutions. It narrows your field of vision, preventing you from recognizing opportunities or resources that could help you advance. It blinds you to your own potential and to the possibility of breakthrough. To guard against this vision corruption, you must be vigilant in monitoring your thoughts. Just as a gardener regularly inspects plants for pests and weeds, you must be attentive to the quality of your mental environment. When negative thoughts arise, confront them, question them, and replace them with truth. This process requires discipline and awareness, but it is essential if you want to protect your vision and maintain momentum toward your goals. Surrounding yourself with positive influences also helps shield your mind from negativity. The people you associate with, the media you consume, and the conversations you engage in all impact your mental atmosphere. Choose to be around those who inspire, encourage, and challenge you to grow. Engage with content that uplifts and educates rather than content that drains or discourages. Remember, negativity is contagious, but so is positivity. Moreover, developing a habit of gratitude is one of the most effective antidotes to negativity. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you begin to shift your perspective. Gratitude illuminates your vision by highlighting blessings, progress, and potential. It fuels hope and fosters resilience, making it easier to overcome setbacks without losing sight of your purpose. Ultimately, you have the power to decide what occupies your mind. Negativity is a choice, one that many make unconsciously, but one you can refuse to accept. by intentionally cultivating positive thoughts, nurturing faith, and protecting your mental environment, you preserve the integrity of your vision. A clear, positive vision will guide you through adversity, inspire perseverance, and lead you to the fulfillment of your destiny. Thinking according to your purpose is the foundation of a life lived with intention and impact. Your thoughts are not random or accidental. They are tools that either construct or deconstruct your reality. When your thinking aligns with your purpose, it becomes a powerful force that shapes your actions, decisions, and ultimately your destiny. Purpose-driven thinking is deliberate. It recognizes that every thought should serve the greater goal of fulfilling the unique reason for your existence. Many people wander through life thinking reactively, responding to circumstances, emotions, or external pressures without a clear sense of why they think what they think. This lack of direction leads to confusion, inconsistency, and missed opportunities. But when you begin to think in alignment with your purpose, your mind becomes a focused instrument. You start to filter your thoughts through the lens of what truly matters to you, discarding distractions and reinforcing what propels you forward. Thinking according to your purpose requires clarity about who you are and what you were created to do. Without this clarity, your thoughts can become scattered, easily influenced by fear, doubt, or the expectations of others. Purpose acts like a compass for the mind, pointing you toward the paths that lead to fulfillment and success. It empowers you to say no to things that do not serve your vision and yes to those that do, even if the yes means stepping into discomfort or uncertainty. This alignment of thought and purpose also shapes your emotional landscape. When your thoughts resonate with your purpose, you experience greater motivation, confidence, and resilience. Challenges become meaningful tests rather than mere obstacles. You develop a mindset that embraces growth and learning, understanding that setbacks are temporary and necessary steps on the journey. Purpose-infused thinking sustains your spirit during difficult times because it reminds you that your efforts have significance beyond the immediate moment. Moreover, thinking with purpose creates coherence in your life. Your goals, habits, relationships, and decisions begin to harmonize around a central theme. This coherence simplifies choices and reduces internal conflict, freeing mental and emotional energy for creativity and productivity. You stop being pulled in multiple directions by competing desires or external noise. Instead, you move with intentionality, knowing that your thoughts are building the life you were meant to live. Purpose-driven thinking also affects how you interact with the world around you. It shapes your values, priorities, and behaviors in ways that inspire others and create positive influence. When your thoughts are clear and purposeful, your words and actions follow suit. You become a beacon of direction for those who may be searching for their own path. Your focused thinking becomes a ripple effect, encouraging a community of like-minded individuals striving toward meaningful goals. Ultimately, you must cultivate the discipline to regularly assess and realign your thoughts with your purpose. Life's distractions and challenges will constantly attempt to divert your mind into unproductive or harmful directions. It takes intentional effort to guard your mental space, to question whether your current thoughts serve your higher calling, and to redirect them as needed. This practice is not a one-time event, but a lifelong commitment. By thinking according to your purpose, you harness the true potential of your mind as a creative and guiding force. You move beyond mere existence into purposeful living, making choices that reflect your deepest values and highest aspirations. Your thoughts become the architects of your legacy, building a life of significance that extends beyond you.